And hello and welcome to Code with the Italians. It's yet another week. It's yet another, well, it's not another week, but it feels like it's been a week since Wednesday, at least for me.
That's the old age.
Yeah, so many things have happened. I've gone to places. I've gotten to see even in real life for the first time in, I don't know, what, 2 years?
Yeah,
Something
probably
like
more. I
that.
mean, it was. Mhm.
So yeah, that was great. I loved it because I got to see you, I got to see Roberto, which you
Also
might
Roberto.
remember as the person that has donated their name to our database.
Yes. So
Not
with Roberto,
necessarily
we
willingly.
added room, right?
Yeah, the Roberto
So it's
database is
Roberto
is
database.
famous.
It's a conversation starter for a lot of guests. Why your database is named Roberto? Yeah.
Like, why
So
the
it was
hell?
good.
Like,
It was good. So, hello everybody, also from me. Today we have Mark again. Mark, welcome back. Super happy to have you.
hi, Mark.
Hello.
How's the Sunday going, folks?
Pretty good for me. Um, I get a lot of time off these days.
Nice.
Well, that's a good thing. I guess there's a silver lining for you.
Yeah, slightly mixed though.
Maybe you can get some context for those that aren't aware of the recent happenings, if you want.
Well, I wrote a blog for 10 years, and it's recently kind of come to an end because I got pirated out of existence. I was just spending more and more time battling pirates, which I'm still having to do, stealing content, and so I just ran out of time to keep creating content. So I've kind of put things on hold for a while, and yeah, I get weekends now, which so that's nice, but it's kind of was not the nicest way for things to end, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice, but for the worst reasons, probably.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, but lucky for us now, we can have you more often.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
I mean, if you want, you're always welcome to come and do your crazy experiments with us instead. Um, Speaking of crazy experiments, the topic today is actually coming from one of your latest articles. So, before you actually explain what we want to do specifically, I think it's worth for me sharing the screen so everyone can see the app as you remember it from Wednesday. I mean, it's the same app. There's still the onboarding, there's still all the things that you need to do, blah, blah, blah. But there's a big difference. When you get to the end, there's a new icon here, which Ivan will be happy about, is we now have a settings screen, or rather a prototype of a settings screen.
Nice.
Now, what this does is we have the list of all the installed applications on the system. And users can use this list to filter out which applications they don't want to get notifications for. So, say we have our notification generator somewhere, there it is, and we don't want the notifications from that anymore. We can just tap it, and now it's grayed out, and that means that it's not going to appear in our notifications list. Now, I haven't implemented the functionality. I've only implemented the basic UI, which is fairly straightforward. It's just using the package manager to go and get the list of installed applications. So in the preferences, preferences view model, So there's a new preference in our data store that is just a list of packages to exclude. And this gets mapped whenever like we get the installed application from the package manager, and whenever the excluded applications change, we reduce, let's say, the two lists together, so we know which apps are being excluded and which aren't. And that's done in the compute apps, which is simply checking for each application in the list if it's contained in the list of excluded packages. So that's basically how it works. And there's a setter as well, which is what happens when you click an item. This setter gets called and essentially does what you expect it to do, which is to it finds, like it adds the package name of the application you just selected to the list, or it removes it depending whether the application should be excluded now or not. That's it. That's the basics. This is just a lazy list with relatively simple item here. And actually, I can show it to you very quickly. So this is the whole screen right now. It's just a scaffold with a title, has a lazy column, which has items. Obviously, over time, we'll add more preferences. We'll probably move this to a sub-screen. But for now, that's good enough. And the item, there's actually a preview for the item, so you can understand it better. But essentially, it's this. It's just the image for the icon, the app name, and the app package. There's some minimal amount of logic, which is to say if the application has a label, then you can show the package name. Otherwise, the package name goes in place of the label, because you will notice that not all the installed applications have an actual user readable name. So if you go down here, you see these ones. They just have a package
more
name.
Like the system ones.
Yeah. But there's no filtering right now. It's just this list sorted by displayable name. And because it's sorted by alphabetically, that the capital, the apps that have a name that start with a capital letter are shown before the ones that start with a lowercase, and the lowercase ones are the ones that tend to be just package names. So that kind of works out in the end.
Okay.
But cool. Now it's the time where we actually, Mark, wanna tell us what we're gonna do?
Well, there was a blog post I did a couple before the end, actually, where we did a strike-through animation. So it kind of used the standard material icon, and then just gave a strike-through. There we go. So you can see the thing in action in the animated GIF there. You've got a shopping cart, and it's kind of like an enable or disable thing. And it kind of is very similar to what you can do with animated state lists using views. But Compose doesn't support animated selector. So you kind of need to do it in the Compose way. And it was one of those that started working, and I was kind of amazed at how easy it was. Was then lucky enough to get it reviewed by some people at Google, Doris Liu, and a few others, and they were able to give me some really good feedback and improved it no end. But this is kind of the code. So we have this animated overlay interface, and this is kind of the interface. It's kind of a SAM interface, and it just is the enabler that you can then build different implementations around that one simple interface. And the strike-through itself is implemented within that draw overlay method. So that draw overlay, yeah, that's easy for me to say. That draw overlay method takes a draw scope parameter, and basically the draw scope is kind of similar to a canvas. It's kind of based on canvas, and it allows you to basically draw stuff. So what this actually does is it draws two lines. One of them is just a line from the color that's passed in to the constructor, and the other one uses a clear blend mode. And when I was trolling Seb the other week, trying to persuade him to explain all the ported duff modes.
That's something you do every time, though. It's not just last session.
So this is one of those ported duff modes, and when you actually draw using one of these ported duff blend modes, it's actually going to do alpha compositing. And by using the clear blend mode, what that is actually going to do is draw over other elements. And if you just scroll back up a second, Seb, just back to the GIF, you can see there's two lines there. There's the green line, but then there's actually a transparent line. It's actually white. It looks white, but it's actually transparent. But it's actually drawing, preventing the underlying shopping cart icon from being drawn. And that's a function of this clear blend mode. So it's basically telling the canvas, don't draw anything on this particular line. So that's the basic strike through overlay. It draws those two lines and then rotates them through 45 degrees, which if you see, there's a rotate block and then the two lines in there. And the initial calculations are just working out the line width based on the screen density, getting a half width because we need that later on. And then the progress height is quite an important one. This is where, when we come to actually animate it, we've got a get progress method function reference that is passed in. Now, what this is going to do is provide a progress for the animation from 0 to 1. So this gets called, and when we call this, it's actually going to cause a redraw every time the progress value changes. So when you think of recomposition, you think of the entire layout needs to be recomposed. What this is doing, because we're actually passing in a function reference, the fact that we're getting a value from this function reference means that anytime any underlying value for that gets called, changes, it means this will be invalidated. So it's kind of like invalidating a view rather than invalidating the entire layout. That's a trick that Doris explained to me, and it's kind of a little bit subtle at first, but basically it's the difference between invalidating a view and invalidating an entire layout. You really don't want to have to recalculate an entire layout when you're doing an animation, because you've only got a limited amount of time to draw the frame. So you really want to keep that as lean and mean as possible. So that's what we get by using a lambda here. So we look up the progress and then we draw the lines based on how far between 0 and 1 the animation has progressed. So that's the basic drawing. And then if you scroll down a bit further, Seb, we then create a custom modifier. So this modifier is called Animated Overlay, and it takes an argument of Animated Overlay, which is the interface that we just defined. And then what it's doing is a little bit interesting. So you've got the this then, which is basically going to apply the modifier in sequence. So this is kind of how the ordering of modifiers is important, and that's what the this then is doing. It's just sort of doing it next in the sequence if you've got this in a group of modifiers. And the first thing it does is it sets an alpha on the graphics layer. Now, the reason this is important is because alpha compositing is expensive. You really don't want to do it unless you really have to. So if you've not got any alphas in what you're trying to render, you really don't want to enable alpha compositing, because it will just be doing a chunk of extra work that isn't needed. By default, Compose turns alpha compositing off. There is kind of a hope that, and this is coming from within Google, that at some point there will be a switch to say, yeah, I need alpha compositing, or I don't. Just a Boolean that you can set whether you want to perform alpha compositing. And if it's enabled, it will render to an off-screen buffer with all the alpha stuff built in. So it's more computationally expensive, but sometimes you just need it where you're doing alpha, and this clear blend mode needs it. For now, the workaround is you set an alpha of something other than 1. So here we've set 0.
Very close.
Yeah, we've set it as close as possible for to 1 as we can, and this will force the alpha compositing to be done to an off-screen buffer, and we get the alpha we want. If you forget this, it just does weird stuff. It doesn't quite render how you want. It'll render a gray line or something like that, rather than doing this clear blend. So that's what's there. It looks a bit hacky. It will be nicer once we get this Boolean just to explicitly control it. But for now, it's kind of a little hack we need to do.
So,
And then,
Mark,
yeah,
I actually have a, well, first of all, thank you very much for the sub, John. It's always nice to have a sub from someone that works at Twitch. The question that I had for you, Mark. So, what is why is the then needed here? Wouldn't it been the same if I just had this dot graphics layer dot row with content? What is the difference in terms of the final result here by using then?
This is, I think, how you're going to actually do it as part of the if you're using animated overlay within another list of modifiers. So it's not the only modifier you're using. The this dot then will make sure it actually gets called in the proper sequence. So it's part of this ordering of the modifiers. But this is going to actually do it after any existing modifiers, because the draw with content block, which is doing all the work, is kind of important. So what that is doing is, first of all, it calls draw content, and that's going to draw the content of the composable that you're applying this modifier to. So in a minute, we'll actually apply this to a composable. And so it's going to draw that first, and then it's going to call the draw overlay method on top of that. And that's what enables us to do this this clear blend mode. And it will actually draw, prevent the areas of the composable that we're drawing over from actually being drawn. So that's how come we draw this transparent line through the shopping cart.
Gotcha. So the reason why we use the then instead of just appending things to this is because we want to make sure that this stuff is really done at the very latest. Like after any other modifiers that might be added down the line, just this stuff needs to be at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
So this is how we can apply it. So we have a mutable state of enabled, which is just a Boolean. And there, for some reason, WordPress code plugin keeps corrupting this. This transition line, it just doesn't like, and it keeps corrupting it. Yeah. So that really isn't Kotlin.
Yeah, it just doesn't.
And I've fixed it so many times, and it just says, "Nope, I'm not doing that."
I know how to fix it.
You made it copy paste impossible. So that's the thing.
So the enabled is a remembered mutable state, and that's the toggle. So we toggle enabled, and it will trigger the animation. We then create a transition, and actually that bit is correct up until the so you've got update transition. It's going to transition based on the value we've enabled, and then we give it a label of transition, and then close bracket. Everything up until that close bracket followed by an equals. Everything up until the close brackets is perfectly fine, and then everything from there on is completely wrong. The following line is actually then creating a val called progress, and then it's by transition dot animate float, and then we're going to give that a label of progress. The reason we give labels is because when you then run this inside the preview, there is a preview tool in Android Studio, and you can run your animations, but that's only detects animations if they're triggered by transitions. So that's why I've done a transition here, but the labels actually allow you to see which one's which. So by giving labels, you get hints at what you're actually changing in the editor, which is quite nice. And what that's going to do is that's going to trigger the progress is going to be an animated float, and that has a trailing lambda where the state is going to toggle the value of progress between 1 and 0. So if it's true, it's going to be 1. If it's false, it's going to set it to 0. Because this is being animated off a float, what happens is when we change that value, it's not going to set the value immediately, but it's going to animate to the new value that we've set. So it's going to change the value of progress repeatedly until it reaches the destination value, and we can apply any easings and everything there. So once we've got that set up, we create our overlay. Here we're setting the color to our primary color from our material theme. We set the line width, and then we define this lambda that we looked at earlier, the get progress lambda, and that's just a lookup of progress, which is this transition value that we've just created. This is all being called inside a composable. So this is where that function reference, because that contains the lookup to progress. As progress changes, it invalidates that function reference, and so that triggers the redraw rather than triggering a recomposition. So if we just put progress equal to, we just subscribe to progress itself there, that would actually trigger a recomposition. But because we do it inside the lambda, it's just going to trigger what's calling that to change whenever the value changes. So again, it will invalidate the drawing, but not the entire composition.
Well, this is just because in this case the progress only impacts the drawing here, right?
Exactly.
But the idea, if I understood it correctly, is that Compose tries to minimize the amount of things that it needs to update whenever the state changes. So if the state is used in only one place, it's gonna invalidate only that reference to the state, and this is the same thing, correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
So once we've got that overlay created, we just add it to an icon. So this is just a material icon that we've got through an image vector. And you can see how we just add that animated overlay as a modifier and put some paddings around it. So the paddings control how there's an inset of how the first padding controls kind of like the padding between the bounds of the strike through and the shopping cart, so we can create make the strike through bigger than the shopping cart, and then we can add a padding to the whole lot, and that's what we're doing here, and then setting it to a fixed size of 52 dp in this case, but normally you wouldn't do that. But the key thing here is this doesn't actually need to be an icon. This can be any composable, and it will do the same strike through animation. If you look back at that code, nothing there actually knows that it's an icon it's drawing over. It's just another composable. So this isn't going to look as good if you've got, say, a very wide composable, because you're going to still do something diagonal, which will look a bit weird. But if you've got something reasonably square, this is just going to work over anything. Which,
I guess you can make it work over arbitrary things by just not using a hard-coded angle, but just calculating the angle.
I think you need to be you need to do a bit of math, but theoretically it can work everywhere.
Yeah, so I've simplified this to work best on square.
But I like the idea that it's basically agnostic, when it comes to where are you applying it. So that's actually super reusable. That's something that, because the strike through, I usually do it with an animated vector kind of, shapeshifter, and somebody gives me like an animated vector and we just toggle it on and off. So I never actually build the animation to strike through the thing. So, but if I can build something that it's reusable, I just need a static icon and I can do the strike through. It's actually super handy.
Yeah, and you don't have to deal with animated vector robots, which are nice, but they're also very verbose and can be a bit unwieldy to deal with. So,
I mean, even better, I don't have to deal with designers.
Well, designers don't have to deal with you.
I mean, that's mutual. I guess that's mutual. But jokes aside, this is super nice because it's reusable. So I want to see it working. Come on, Sebastian.
I'm gonna copy paste the shit.
Show me the code.
Show
me the code.
Well, there's not much code yet. That's kind of the point. We need to add it, but we can definitely do it. So we have our util thing here. I think we can probably just go in the util packages and plump it down there for now. So we can create a Kotlin file and we'll call it animated overlay, and we'll add that. We're gonna paste stuff in. We're gonna let Android Studio figure out the imports as much as it can. And that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, so I think
This
this
does
is
look legit.
yeah. Okay, and now it all works.
It was easy.
Right. Yeah, it's just WordPress, I guess.
Yeah.
Hugo
Yes.
saying it's going to import java.reflect.modifier. Hopefully not.
Classic.
Da, 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 da. So, Mark, I know you're going to be mortally offended. No, sorry, but it's only for the next variable or symbol. There's no renames yet. But Mark, you're going to be offended. I know, but I'm going to have to have it Yankee English because the rest of the code base is.
Yeah, like
Well,
Roberto database.
Strike through ending in a U is pretty Yankee, I think.
Anyway, so this should be fine. I don't think there's anything we need to change here. It even comes with the detect annotation, which is great.
Yeah,
It saves us the
that was
pain.
actually I was thinking the same thing on the blog. I was like, wow, there's the code on the blog also has the suppress for the magic number. That's a lot of quality in a tiny snippet. I love it.
Well, there's two magic numbers in there. There's the 2 and there's the -45. So
Yeah.
kind of needs to be done.
I'm gonna create a package because I think there's enough stuff here. Should be called code. I pasted from Mark's blog overlay. I mean,
Copy paste driven development.
yeah.
That's
the
for
one
sure.
time we don't do Chris Payne's driven development, right? I'm actually gonna create UI dot overlay. So we can just move these ones there. And I can, but what the shit
what
did
happened?
it move?
What happened?
It moved whatever it wanted, but not what I was asking it to. Okay. Sure, Studio, sure. And then we need the file, which is overlay modifier, where we paste the modifier. Should we do it for Hugo? Sorry, Hugo. Next time. You get him, Tiger?
What's the issue with it? What was it? Why was it
It
red?
was just
Now it's not red anymore.
internal.
Whatever. Internal.
So I'm actually curious to see what then does under the hood. And also, I know this is probably imperceptible, but I feel safer like this.
I did screenshots of both, and you really can't see it at 0.99.
I know you cannot see it, but I can know it. I know it. It's gonna bother me anyway. It's gonna be like.
Jesus, you need to work on this stuff, Sebastian.
Yeah, it's like Hugo says, once you know it, you cannot unsee it. It's like, but is that really black or is that like almost black?
Kinda black, right? Black.
So I'm just taking a stroll down the code base of Compose and just want to see what then does. It uses a combine modifier, which is a node and modifier chain. A combine modifier always contains at least two elements, an outer that wraps around the inner. So the outer is this. So it's saying this modifier wraps the other modifier. And then there's some magic down there. Okay, fine, whatever. It got to the point where it wasn't worth. Code. Sorry?
No, luckily we have the source code, so now we know how it looks, and we are ignoring it like consciously. You know, that's the idea.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with ignoring things once I know I can ignore them.
Yeah.
So let's say we need
Okay.
to animate this, right? It's already square, so that's good. Should we modifier.magic.then? Yes, Hugo. Yes, that's how I like it. So we need to apply the fancy modifier that we have created. But again, I'm lazy, so I'm going to copy paste this stuff
Yeah, you're going to copy paste
There's a
the
lot of
WordPress
a lot of
and
broken
fix
typos
it.
in there.
Copy paste and fix. So it's all right. Update transition.
You could have got it from the GitHub repo.
Yeah, but by the time I open it,
You can fix it. Look at that, some IntelliJ magic.
no, it was correct. Transition.
Huh? Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's fine. That. Goodbye. And then I need this. No, that was this. Okay. Yep. And
What's with the animate flow?
I think it's a
Is it-
typo. Yep.
Okay.
Mark, I found the typo. That was a lowercase f, I think.
It's not in my source, but it might have been one
The
of the
magic.
things
The magic.
Yes.
Okay, so shall we call this strike through transition, and then also put it here and take out this. Now we have the progress, and I'll maybe call that strike through progress as well, just because by the time we finish adding all the animations that we want to this, we're gonna have a bunch of transitions and animations, and I don't want that just a generic progress when it's specifically for something. So I am going to rename it, and also this. Okay. Ooh. Perfect. Okay, good. Now we need the strike through overlay, and that's our overlay. And then we can finally add the modifier. Where in the stack does the overlay go?
It depends. So any padding before you add the modifier is going to be between the overlay and the image, but then you can put further padding outside around both if you like. So again, it's down to modifier ordering.
So let's say we do it here, right? And we refresh this. Now this is never going to change, so we're gonna have to change to, well, this is never gonna be always enabled or disabled, so we are going to, yeah, okay, we need to pass this in as a parameter. Okay. And then this is going to complain that it doesn't know if it's enabled or not. But now we do know, because enabled is item enabled, because we have that. Good. The only thing that we need to do still is the preview, because this preview here, app toggle item, no, okay, it does everything. So good. I just needed to double check that it was handling the enabled, but it does, because I am not that lazy.
Oh, look at that.
Okay. This looks weird, but it's okay.
Yeah, there is a rendering bug in the preview that the blend mode isn't accounted for. So it doesn't do the alpha compositing. So you see a black line there, but I can assure you, if you try it in the emulator, you will see that will actually be the clear blend mode.
There's also
the green. Where does it come from? Oh, okay, from there.
The green is the primary.
It's the primary.
but
Okay.
the thing is, the primary...
Should it get it from the image?
It should get it from the image, but you would need something like palette, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. So what we can do is, for
It would be
now,
cool.
instead of using the primary, we can use on surface, because the background here is a surface. The color of this is white. And if we use on surface, this green is gonna go black, theoretically. Yep. Okay. So the strike through is actually going to be a black bar. And I guess we can already run it in the emulator and see how it works.
Ship it.
Not what I meant to do.
Why not? Okay.
Okay, so if we go here...
Oh, okay. So I guess we have a Boolean that's doing the other thing, the other way around.
Yeah, exactly. So this is... Well, we can see it work anyway. So we can see that it actually does what it's supposed to do, which is good.
Oh, that's actually nice.
So that's the state is inverted.
So the fact that there's like a progress from the top to the bottom is because we are animating float, right? Am I correct? So it's not like a switch, but it's actually going on a straight line. That's
so that's what that function reference does, is that's looking up a progress value. That progress value is being animated by the transition. So when you toggle the Boolean value, it's going to animate that value to a new value, and so that's going to cause the line to draw, basically animate, or as it draws or undraws or whatever.
I love Hugo saying that this is like Fruit Ninja and we're slicing icons. But yeah, this seems to work just fine now.
Yeah.
It is very nice. Really cool. Okay, so are we done? Are we done? Shall we go home?
Oh, come on.
That was quick.
Yeah, that was easy. I mean, especially if you do all the work, Mark. So
yeah,
I mean, that was super easy.
But
yeah, it took me quite a while to get that working quite how I wanted, but now it can be cut and pasted.
No shit.
Hey, the tracks.
Oh, nice.
But I just love how it works over any composable.
There's a lot more things that we can animate, though. So, shall we?
Of course.
Okay, I am going to commit this
go
first.
for it.
What did I change in the preferences? Oh, it's the preferences screen. Right, that makes sense. Cross out excluded icons. Okay, now, first of all, I wanted to show you folks, before I do anything else, what Mark was mentioning earlier, which is there is a preview thingy in Android Studio that you can use for animations. It's not enabled by default, I think, at least on Arctic Fox, but you can go to experimental and you can enable it here. Enable interactive and animation preview tools. If you enable this and you start the interactive preview for a composable, then you get the animation inspection. And this is going to look into the composable and pick up the transitions that you have defined in there.
So this is where those labels that we created, this is where they're surfaced. So that they just help you keep track of what it is you're looking at when you come to this. And you can label things any way you want.
And it's very, very nice.
That's actually cool.
This is also going to be very useful for us as we transition things, like we make a more complex transition, let's say. So the first thing that to me is quite obvious we might want to animate is the alpha here. So the whole row just is entirely opaque or is not entirely opaque, depending whether the item is enabled or not. Now, that works, but it's an instant transition, which is not great. And you will also notice that because it's not animated, that change in value doesn't show here in any way.
Here.
So
Okay.
what we can do, like the easy solution for this would be to create val RowAlpha by animate floater state. There you go. I never remember the whole name. And the target value is this one. And we can do RowAlpha here. And we can refresh the preview. In the
We
meantime,
have a question.
yeah. In the
We have
meantime,
a
does
question
this
in the chat.
method also allow to set specific animations to hide items in lazy list? There is, as far as I know, there is no built-in way to hide or show items in a lazy column or a lazy row. You can emulate things by yourself. Like you can have your own item animations that are triggered when something is removed, for example, that might, I don't know, collapse it or expand it when it's added. But then you need to also model in your data models, in your domain models, you also need to model the fact that that transition is happening, because otherwise the list doesn't know what to do with the item once it's gone. So you need like a present state, you need a going in state, a going out state, and a gone state. And whenever something ends up in the gone state, then it gets, you need to remove it from the backend data so that there isn't an item in the list anymore. So it's tricky. You can do it, but it's tricky. I hope they will add that stuff at some point where because the list kind of knows when an item comes and goes. So it's just a matter of adding callbacks essentially, or something along those lines. I don't know whether they actually will go with callbacks, but so in the meantime, we're back here. We have our animation, and you will notice in this preview, again, this is not happening, it's not fading out. Why? This is because what Mark was saying earlier, which is that animate floater state, like any animation that is not part of a transition, does not get previewed here. If I stop this and I just click it and I use the interactive preview, it all works fine. The alpha is there, it gets animated, and that's fine. But it doesn't show here. I guess yet, I don't know. But right now, this thing only works with transitions. And you can think of transitions in the same sense of motion layout animations, where it's state-based. You start from a state, you end up in another state, and you define how the motion or the values change. So how do we make this show up there? Well, we do what Mark had done already, which is defining a transition.
What you could do is actually hoist the transition.
Yeah, I can also do that.
And then you basically have all of your animations driven by a single transition, which is quite nice.
Let's do that. I was going to approach this the other way around, but that also works just fine. So this is the excluded transition, and it's passed in, and it's a transition of Boolean. That's okay. And this is animate float again, and we don't need crossed out anymore because that value is obtained from the transition. Now this is gone again. Okay, So we have just defined the transition here. Now we need to rename that, but we also need to extract it as a variable. That goes there. Exclude the transition. It's okay. And I need to rename this to exclude the transition. That's cool. And I think, let me close that down a bit, that we should have everything we need, because now we can do exclude transition dot animate float. The state part isn't there anymore. But obviously this is not the right way to do it anymore. So now what we need to do is we need to define the transition spec if we want that. And we'll see what that is in a second. We need to set a label, and we need to set the target value by state. Now the target value by state is what we were doing before. So this is enough, but Android Studio will complain and say you need a label parameter, and yeah, let's just add that. So this is the RowAlpha, and now theoretically this should be enough for us. In practice, I think I broken the transition because the state used to be inverted because I was negating it before passing it in here. So now I need to essentially invert these two. And this is 1F, and this is excluded. Okay. Probably. We'll see. Maybe I've broken it now. Who knows?
You broke it back. You broke it back.
We'll figure it out soon. So no.
Okay, so at least now we have the two things.
Yeah.
Right?
There's another thing that I would like to do, which is generally when you're doing like simple state animations that are just on and off, it's fine to use a Boolean, but it's not very descriptive. So what I would do instead is I would create an enum that maps the state. And that's obviously something you need to do when you're animating between more than two states. So if you have like 3-4 states, then obviously you need an enum or some other sort of value. Here it's not strictly necessary, but I think it's still worth. So
I mean, even if you do it just for the readability, I mean, it can't hurt, right?
Yeah. So
plus enums are the Mark's favorite things. But it's more like for our guest. Oh, I see that you are following the code convention, Sebastian.
Yeah,
the code style.
I'm all about that code style.
Let me get the link for you. Just gonna get the link for you.
So essentially what we need to do now is to change this to filter state. Was that state? Yep. And this is app filter state. And obviously now I've broken all the code everywhere because it's not a Boolean anymore. But that is okay. So I need to rename this to filter state, and this is app filter state dot included. So we start with included. Obviously here what we need to do is if filter state. So if this is included, then we return excluded, else we return included. Okie doke. And I think I can just go on a new line to make it nicer. And okay, perfect. And we need something similar up here. which is the filter state, we need to check the app filter info dot is excluded. So app filter info dot is excluded. And now it reads a bit better, where if the app filter info is excluded, then the state is excluded. Otherwise, the state is included. And okay. And now it's not negated anymore. And this is it is included. Then we use content high. Otherwise, we use content medium. I will actually do this and rename this to target filter state. Okay, perfect. Excluded transition, that's fine. We need to change the type here as well, because it used to be a transition of Boolean, but it's now a filter state. And then again, we essentially do the same thing. So target filter state. If it's, yeah, was it included? I forgot already, but probably.
I mean, you have 50-50, right? 50%
Yeah, exactly.
chances.
I'm all for testing it out and seeing how it goes. I got it right. Yes.
Coin flip. It's easier to run it than to scroll.
Yeah. The very nice thing about using the enum here is that the UI picks it up. So here it doesn't say true and false anymore, but it says included and excluded. And if the enum had more states, then you could also do that.
That's actually very smart.
Yeah. Now this goes like that.
Yeah, looks good. So what else do we want to do?
Oh, but there's more.
Animate all the things.
Yeah, we can animate more things. One thing that... Oh, hydrate. Sure.
Cheers.
Cheers. One other thing that I would like to talk about is about the fact that you can create, like you can compose transitions. I'm not going to do it now, but you can do something like exclude transition dot there's something, create child transition. This is useful because this allows you to essentially create a bunch of smaller transitions and then at the end just put them all together.
Composition. Oh, that makes sense.
So that, like, for example, like the documentation is actually quite useful because it says what it does fairly clearly. So the first thing is that you can actually hoist the child transition state into the parent transition. So here, instead of passing down the transition from above, what I could do is I could just say, okay, give me the one transition, because this might be like a larger state that isn't just the app filter state we have. Maybe we have a transition that involves several parts moving, and I don't need to pass in the big transition and just derive things in here. I can just say, I just want to know this little bit of the transition and just get that as a parameter. So that's the first interesting part. The other thing you can do is, obviously you can, by breaking it down, you can separate concerns. And when you're testing your animations, like in the interactive mode, then it's much simpler, because instead of having maybe 50 things that are animated, you only have the 2 or 3 or 4 that are relevant to the thing you're testing right now.
That you're interested, yeah.
It's not a big deal in our case, because after all, this is like a very simple animation, a simple transition so far that only has 2 things that are moving. But what if there are more things that are moving? What if the transition is a screen transition and you have, 5 composables that are flying around, each with its own properties and values and animations.
Oh.
So that will allow you to break things down.
But this actually makes sense, because the more we the more we build animated things, because it's getting easier to do animations, it makes sense that you also have a strategy to put things together and keep your sanity, because I mean it will get probably popular to see a lot of micro animations, because, well, if it's just a few lines, you don't have the fear, you're not scared anymore of 15 different transition APIs, across 10 versions of Android. So like, no, we are not doing animation, YOLO, talk to the iOS people. We are the Android team. We don't do that. So it's also nice to have this kind of structure already, where you can build this tiny Lego transition kind of things, and then you put them together. So I love it.
Okay, so I think we can animate some more stuff. And one thing that I would like to do is, like, this is probably clear enough to us that know what's going on. But it's maybe not going to be super clear to everyone what is going on. So if someone installs the app from the Play Store and taps something, and there's a list of apps, and they tap something, and that something just gets crossed out and alpha a bit, that's going to
what's the meaning,
confuse people maybe. So what I would like to do is I would like to be a bit more explicit about what this means. So in this case, I would like to put like a small disabled label on top of the items that are
nice. Okay,
crossed
I
out.
see what you mean.
So something.
We also have a question.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that in a second.
Nice. Okay.
I'm just gonna create this and run it, and while it runs, we can actually answer the question. String resource r.string label disabled for now, and create this disabled. Okay, good. And we can refresh this. So the question is, having enums for everything will not affect your app's memory consumption. Technically, yes, but if that's the problem you have with memory consumption, then the problem is somewhere else. Like, it's not gonna be the handful of extra memory you use by using an enum instead of a Boolean that is going to make or break your app, especially since we're not in 2009 anymore and there's no device with 128 megs of RAM. The memory problems are going to arise from leaks. They're going to arise from having too many bitmaps in memory at the same time and on screen at the same time. They're not going to be the difference between 1 byte technically, or 500 bytes. In your heap that is going to be, in the worst case scenario, around 128 megabytes, that's not going to make a difference. Even if you have 1,000 of them, it's not going to make a difference. That said, I know that this comes from, how to say it nicely, from a campaign that was done by Google themselves some time ago, where they said, oh, don't use enums, use integers. Don't use classes when you can use a primitive type. And that's technically correct if you are extremely memory constrained and if you are the framework. If you're an application, in practical terms, it's never been it's never been a real problem. Yeah, don't use fragnums. Oh god, does that thing still exist? Yes, it does. It does.
What the fuck is this?
So back in the day, when there was the big thing of someone from Google saying, "Oh, perf matters. Don't use enums because they
Yeah,
use too much memory."
I
Ah,
remember.
so uh,
No, but no,
it's
I'm
just
serious. I
it's just
want to
it's just a
because
mock library that creates fake enums by using uh, primitive types, which is obviously stupid. It's meant
wow.
as a joke.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Don't do that.
Fair
This
enough.
is
Don't do
bad.
this. Stay in school. Stay in school. Don't do drugs and don't do this other thing. Yeah, but I want to actually chip in on this performance or supposed to be a performance issue with enums and things like that. I worked with like a fantastic engineer when it was one of my mentors like 10 years ago. Now he's in Amazon, and I was actually is the person that we were talking about yesterday, Sebastiano. And he once told me, I was always about, oh yeah, performance on Android. We need to improve things like like complexity, that kind of stuff. I was young, and he told me performance comes after the suitcase for your elephant, and I didn't understand the and I had to ask, and I was like, yeah, it was like, imagine you have an elephant, imagine that it needs a suitcase, so how important is the thing? And I was like, that wouldn't make any sense. It wouldn't be important at all. And he was like, yeah, performance comes after that, because your focus has to be code readability, maintenance, having your team happy, and then you can probably start making things fast. But if they are like fast, you can't do the other way around. If you build for performance, chances are that the thing is just going to end up being a black box that nobody can touch, because everybody's scared about touching and ruining the performance. So he was like, just work with the readability, and the maintainability and performance will be important. If they are important, we will work on that. So it changed a bit my way of thinking about this thing. The whole idea of using a proper type that gives you a nice semantic meaning, instead of being trapped with primitive obsession, because it's an int. An int is an int. An email is a string. Well, yes, an email is a string, but not every string is an email address, right? So if you have types, use types, because the world that we live in and we try to model with programming, it's more constrained than we actually think. An int is not always the right thing to do. Even if it looks like a number, probably it's a bit more constrained than that. But we don't have the kind of choice in our languages, so we need to come up with smart solutions. So my love for readability is above now the app is slow because we have 3 enum. We sent a man on the moon with something that was slower than an Arduino. I think that we can afford enums. We are carrying phones that are like gigabytes of RAM, so I'm pretty sure we can live with that.
And just to add to that, I believe the most important thing about performance optimization is that it really depends on the context. Like there is no silver bullet except for avoid doing obviously stupid things like allocating stuff on a hot loop, like a loop that is executed continuously. That's gonna trash the garbage collection and the heap. That's gonna be a problem. But unless you're in very, very specific situations and tackling very specific performance issues, you don't need to worry in 2021 too much about things that are at this low level. It's not a problem anymore. Arguably, it wasn't a problem when that was a mantra in the first place. But given the benefit of the doubt, it's not a problem anymore. And don't optimize things before you have a need for it, because it's easy to optimize and obfuscate the code by optimizing it when there is a need to it for it. But if you optimize it immediately and it's less readable, less maintainable, as Ivan was saying, that's going to bite you in the ass 6 months down the line when the requirements change, because of course the requirements will change. And you have to essentially rewrite it because it was very good. It was very optimized. It was very performant. But now you have to rewrite it from scratch.
Yeah. Yeah. It
But
was
I
very
also
fast, but now, please.
I also remember the discussions around this got quite heated at the time. Think tabs versus spaces type arguments, and it got to those kind of levels, didn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's
Animate
crack
something
on.
else, Sebastiano.
Yeah,
Animate
it's been
something
5
else.
minutes since I last animated something and getting itchy.
Yeah. So that's the too static. The content is too static.
Yeah. I have added a label, but it's not animated, and that is unacceptable.
Yeah, we need to fix it.
So let's say
what is that? Like, we are savages that we don't animate labels. I mean, where are we? Like, what is this hell?
Okay, so the first obvious thing to do is to hide that disabled label whenever the item is actually not excluded. Maybe we can call it excluded instead of disabled. I think it makes more sense.
And pick the font. I don't want to sound like like a jerk, but the font was a bit large.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Sorry. I know that you are the designer in the team, but okay, I was just pointing out. Looked a bit large, but okay.
Yeah, it is, but that's fine.
Okay.
It's to annoy us into making it look nicer. I just want to make sure that the label appears and disappears now, because thank you, Gradle. Will you stop? Yeah, okay, it works. Obviously, this is not great, but it works. Now we can make it look nicer.
Yeah, it's iteration by annoyance.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like frustration-driven development kind of thing.
So, what we need to do is we want to make it. So we want to make the text smaller, the font heavier, make it look like a pill. If you remember, we've done it in the onboarding, and we can easily do it here as well. So we start with
the style for that. I can't remember if we had like a sort of modifier for that. Was it the shape or something?
We have a material pill thing, but
okay. It's a box with a content.
Yeah, I think we can remove this now. Actually, that's a good point, because it was broken in beta 8. I think it should work now.
Okay. I mean, that's nice to try, right?
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fine. Okay, good.
I like our to-dos. It's broken in beta 8, should be okay in beta 9. Ciao. See you in the future.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
I think we have a preview, so let's actually test it.
Oh, good. Because I imagine, yeah, in a team. I mean, right now you are always doing the coding. So, but I imagine this stuff in a project where you have people, and then you have the random person that just steps on the file, and oh, you just want an update. Oh, damn it! It's now I have to fix it because I read the to do, so now I have to do it. So I like it.
Yeah. So this is gonna break on dark theme, but dark theme, it's not a problem for today. We'll fix it another day. Or later.
To do.
Color. Okay. So okay, material pale. Oh, right. Balls. So this is chip preview. And I also need a pill preview. Pill, and this is material pill. I don't need this anymore. What does it want? It wants the background color and the content color, which I guess life is hard. Content color is material theme dot colors dot yeah, whatever. I'm gonna YOLO the shit out of this. Bear with me.
I mean, sounds the usual.
Yeah. Back. What? What? Ugh. Oh, BG color. I don't remember what I've done on this, so please bear with me. I'm gonna do light gray because why not? We don't need this anymore. Okay, let's build and refresh. Now we should have the bill. No, okay, cool. There is a problem with this though. Like, we do have the pill, and that's great, and we can use that. The only thing though that I would do is so there's an elevation, there's a border stroke, there's a content color, there's a background color. I'm gonna rename this because I know I'm gonna forget again. Ugh. The new keyboard will never arrive in time. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to in here. Yeah, the problem we have here in the preview is that the text doesn't really have a spacing around it. So what we can do is we can
Yeah, it's a
add
bit
some...
claustrophobic.
Yeah, but that's just a preview problem because after all, you're gonna have to provide that yourself. But what we can do is we can say horizontal is let's say 4 dips, and the vertical, it can either be 0 or maybe 2 dips. And now we should see this build preview. Yeah, that looks nicer.
Nicer.
Although,
I mean, the first one is still claustrophobic, but the second one is good.
Maybe more. Maybe more.
I like this live edit so much.
Let's do it like this. Yeah, the other one is still claustrophobic because it doesn't have the modifier.
Yeah, no, but you know, you see the difference, right? I mean, the second one is way more pleasant.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So
it's
what
important
we
to
can
add a
do
bit of padding.
is essentially this, and there you go. Now, obviously, I have added a modifier, so the live thing wasn't picking it up.
Nice.
Yeah, I would say this is fine, and we can use the
Looks good.
material pill thing. Now, this is doing a bunch of things. This is a surface, it contains things. It might be overkill for what we need to do, because it can also have, you know, strokes and elevation and whatever. But if it ain't broken,
I mean,
guess.
there are defaults. So I like the idea is that you build a component that is breach the bare minimum that you need, and then you can default on things. No.
Also, just realize that I needed to make it internal,
And the
and
preview private.
yeah. So we also need to provide some sensible defaults here. So let's say,
White.
what's happening?
Like a ice cream truck or something.
Sounds like a
Yeah,
creepy,
there's one outside.
creepy
That's
ice cream
the
truck
creepiest
moment.
shit ever. Oh my god, that's the creepiest thing ever.
Do you know the first time that
Sorry,
happened to
this
me in the UK? I was creeped the shit. Like, I wasn't used to it because you don't get those in Italy, at least not.
Yeah,
in,
no, we
in
don't
my
don't
city.
have it in Italy. We only have it in horror movies in Italy. So you know, you grew up with that kind of PTSD kind of thing, you know.
We grew up with that kind of horror. Why do you think we voted for Boris Johnson?
And yeah, they're just gonna report us. You know that it's probably gonna shut down the stream, right? Okay, thank you. Oh, so unfortunately, Code
There's
Italian
Joachim
is
on the
not
stream.
available anymore in the UK. That's so. And let's present our new sponsor, VPN, that will allow you to watch Code with Italians from the UK. Thank you.
Oh, but for once, I'm not trolling you guys.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Oh, I just realized I've done something a bit silly, which is the background color and the content color. I've used secondary here and I've used on secondary. But what I should do probably is content color for background
nice.
color. Because this way, if you change this is going to pick up the corresponding one automatically, which is nice.
Yeah.
Here we have
all these tiny functions that we have in the API. You know, you just need to get used to use them. So,
yep. So there's a thing here. We don't really have the colors we need in the theme, but that's for now. We're just gonna do it like this. What we will probably want to do is we want to get the bundle colors thingy and make it return, instead of the material colors, make it return our own decorated version of that, but not today. Because there's enough
Serial for L driven development. Not today. What do we say to refactoring? Not today.
Because or add extensions on the material one, right, Hugo? That's actually a better idea. Let's do that.
Right.
Fill background. I will do it now. Create extension property on colors. I will move it later. Yes, it's a color. Good. And now I need to move that to the theming. So there's a bundle colors here, and there's a blah 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 material theme. Okay, I'll just plop it down.
Yeah,
somewhere
put
here.
it there, because I think we need to also extract a few things from this file because it's getting
Yeah, it's
And
probably
it's
worth.
doing a lot of things because those are fonts, so it's a bit probably they can be extracted. So,
Yeah.
we can.
We'll do that.
Pull requests are welcome.
Yeah, if anyone has the willingness to do that, they're more than welcome to, obviously.
Okay.
So, pill background here. Now, the thing is, we do have the dark mode thing, but I never remember how it goes. Oh yeah, is system in dark theme. That's good enough.
Is system in dark theme? Yeah, that's actually.
Then we do well, I can also just do bundle colors, but bundle colors returns that. So we need a pill background color.
Okay.
Else well, pill background light. Also, this would be dark. I'm gonna get there eventually. And this is light. Okay, good. What are you complaining about? Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Why is complaining?
Because it doesn't understand that it's composable.
Okay.
Sure, whatever.
Whatever. Ciao.
Colors
is
light.
light.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Hugo.
And you need to invert them. Fair enough. Cool. That's cool. Is it doing the same thing? Is it like a fake property, synthetic property, something?
No, it's actually
doing
set.
the same.
I don't know if this is doing that, but...
Oh yeah, it's doing the same thing. Okay, that's cool.
No, it's a different thing. Like is light is state.
Okay.
So whatever. And let's just define the colors somewhere up here. So private val pill background light, and this is colors dot light color dot light gray. Perfect. And this is pill background dark, which is dark gray. Okay.
YOLO.
Yeah, that works for now. Look at me, I'm a designer. Woo-wee.
Hugo's saying you can drop the composable on the getter now, I think.
All right, you are correct. Thank you, Hugo.
Look at that.
Okay, I don't really know how the text stuff is gonna work, but we'll figure it out. So we have set the background color. What we need to set now is we need the modifier, I think. So the padding thing, if you remember. Okay. I'm just gonna reuse the same one, and I can probably update the preview, and it should work. I don't know how the text is gonna look, but okay, that seems
nice.
Correct.
It looks perfect. It actually looks nice.
Okay.
Maybe make it slightly smaller.
Yeah. Now we're gonna get to that.
I mean, okay, so now I'm pissed because when I suggested it, now it was okay. Now Mark that does the fancy stuff
yeah, but Mark is right. You're not.
Well, I was ahead of the times. I'm like a pioneer of design. I mean, you don't get it. That's it.
Nobody understands you.
No, I mean like a Cassandra of design.
Seb knows that I'll troll him if I ask for it and then he doesn't do it. So.
So you have to wait that I sacrifice as a tribute, and then you actually step in. I like it. Okay, fair enough.
I'm gonna do medium. That's probably good enough. Let's update this and see how it looks. And yeah, good enough.
Okay.
Nice.
Good enough, I would
Nice.
say. What do you think, folks?
Me likey.
Okay.
Oh,
Goody.
let's try to do the fancy thing in Twitch. Give me a second, because I want to actually try something that they suggested. So the person that we had in the chat that works for Twitch suggested
Fuck him.
on
Fuck
that
him.
we yes, but the person. Okay, I just want to start a prediction. Let's see.
Hi, person. Okay. Now there's enough spacing underneath. Okay. Go. Oh, you're doing the prediction thing.
Yes, I want to try. Submission period, a minute. Okay, let's go.
1 minute. Okay, folks, you have 1 minute.
Don't show this again. Let's try. I don't
Prediction
even know how
started. How does this work?
I don't know. But no, that's a prediction. I probably should be a
prediction?
poll. I don't know. Yeah, I probably that's a poll. It's not a prediction. I'm still understanding. So what? Oh yeah, okay. So a prediction actually. Okay, now I get it. The prediction looks like should be a probe. Now I see. So the prediction, it will be something like, this test, is it gonna run or fail? So we can run predictions on stuff like that. So the poll actually is more like a poll. I mean,
I bet 400 on yes.
You're just playing the system. That's I'm just gonna shut this down. I'm just gonna shut it down.
No, come on.
Oh, everyone loves it.
I'm kidding. Yeah. No. Everybody loves it. So, and now I know how the thing works. So thank you for playing, everybody.
Okay, so now I think it's time to animate more shit.
More.
There's a very obvious thing that needs to be animated here, and that's that thingy. That thingy needs animation.
You need the pill.
Yeah, the pill needs to be animated, and I think that's going to be the last thing we're going to do today. And I'm probably going to have to copy paste code from the time I've actually tried it before, because I'm sure I'm going to get it wrong like 15 times in a row, because that's how it goes.
How did you animate it? I mean, can you just
rotate it like a propeller, says Hugo. Maybe not.
To the moon. To the moon. Okay. Thank you, Mark. You won 100 points. Thank you. Tasteful design. That's perfect. Ugo, once again, there is a lot of mathematics behind the shape of Bezos, the Bezos rocket. So don't just drop it, okay? There's a lot of math and physics involved, so don't rocket shame.
Okay.
I don't know how to do the thing. Where is the? How do I give you the money? I don't know. So choose the outcome. Where is it? I choose the outcome. Yes, people loved it. Complete the prediction. Did you get the money? I don't even know where the points are coming from. Okay.
The points are coming from Jeff Bezos's rocket, I think.
Yeah, probably. It's just the Bezos points. Money flowing back to Twitch stuff. Oh yeah, that's actually close the circle. Just closes the circle.
Oh God, why are we even?
I mean, that's what we do, right? I mean, I don't know why Mark is still with us, because we are embarrassing him, because but okay. Thank you, Mark, for staying.
I actually think Mark is not trolling us enough. Maybe he's bored.
Well, I think
wants
we
to
should
animate
get
it.
to animate things, otherwise I'll rage quit.
Yeah. just hear the doors smashing, just leave the room and just smash the door. So yeah, like it. Okay.
Well, usually I'm able to troll more because I'm laying on the couch watching it on the TV with a beer in my hand. So
I mean, you're welcome to get yourself a beer if you want.
Yeah,
no, I've still got some gin. So
Okay, that's fine.
ouch. Okay, fair enough.
Okay, so I would say let's start with the alpha. What do you think? That seems to make sense to me. That we just fade it in and out. Shall we do that?
of course we should.
Can you read the font from the couch though? Maybe Hugo, your couch is too far. That's the problem.
Yeah, I'm not usually reading the code too closely. I'm more concentrating on the trolling aspect.
You don't need to read the code for that. Fair enough. So, we have done the thing, which is we have passed in the transition to the label. I've extracted the thing as composable. And now, alpha. Have I fucked up the alpha? No, I have not fucked up the alpha. So when you transition, it shows up. That's great. Yay!
Nice.
Too bad that leaves a giant hole at the top all the time.
Oh yeah, it doesn't shrink.
Oops.
I mean, that's okay. I mean, there's a lot of margin there to improve.
But we're lucky. There's a way to do this. And maybe, Mark, do you have any ideas on how we can do this?
I'm sure you know.
I
I
know, but do you?
I predict that Seb already knows this.
Seb already knows this because Seb has cheated. Seb has cheated and has done this before.
What are you gonna use?
Actually, before I
animate shape.
Before I do this, before I do it the right way, that was suggested to me by someone working at
You are
Monzo,
watching
I
a
think.
master at work.
Thank you, Mark. So I was suggested the right way by someone. I didn't come up with it. My previous approach, which worked, but was horrible, like it hurt my soul.
Sebastiano. Suboptimal.
Yes, sure. My previous approach was something along the lines of using the on globally positioned modifier, which is essentially what in view terms would be on draw listener, right? So after the layout is done and everything is done, this will tell you the size of the thing. So you can get the size of the thing, you can save it in a state, and you can animate that and do some magic to make it work, and just apply offsets based on the height. And then I got to the point where I optimize it. So I started with a shitty version, and then I got to the better version. The better version was, sorry, I need to specify that better has a number of quotes around it. It's like the better version, which is not the best version by any stretch of the imagination.
The less crap version.
Yeah, the marginally less crap version was to, instead of doing this all the time, every time, I would essentially have a version of this composable that oh god, I'm ashamed of myself just saying it, but I had a version of this that would measure itself and call like a lambda that you pass it here with the height. So it would lay itself out, and when it's laid out, it would tell you this is my size. And I would do it.
We're still talking about rockets.
Yes.
Okay.
And I would do it up here outside of the lazy column because the height is going to be the same for all the labels. So you only need to do it once. But what's the problem? If you have another excluded label here with which does all the things and ends up with val label height, if you do this, this is going to be drone, right?
Hydrate.
Oh, hydrate. I need to hydrate.
Sasha.
Grazie, Sasha. The problem is this is going to be drone. So what was my horrible solution to that? Was
Please don't.
this. That technically works.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
That technically works. That's fine. And you can also, yeah, I know. I mean, I was doing this because I didn't know of a better way to do it. But we're here today to tell you that there is a better way to do it that actually isn't making me puke in my mouth. Yep. Unacceptable. Really unacceptable shit. I was texting Mark and like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. I've done this. It works. It sucks. I hate it.
I don't want to go live with this code.
Yeah. So, and this is where I'm happy that I didn't actually go through with it. No, Hugo, I didn't put it on Stack Overflow.
Pollute the ecosystem with your
mostly
not.
Yeah, the problem is that if you put that in Stack Overflow, even if it's in the question and you say this works but it's shit, someone is going to copy paste it without understanding why it's bad. And
also upvoting it.
Yeah, maybe also that, but I don't care about internet points, so
no,
there's that.
But,
I know, I'm a horrible person, but I don't care.
The gamification effect of Stack Overflow, you're missing out, Sebastian.
I know. But now it's time to do it the right way. Yes, only Italian points matter, not internet points don't care. So what you can do is you can use the layout modifier.
Okay. So it's a modifier. It gives you back a measurable and constraints. Okay.
Yeah. So what this does is you can essentially intercept the measure and layout with the modifier. So you can technically move stuff around. You can also there's a good question on the chat that I will answer in a second. You can move things around, you can change their size, you can modify things the way you want. And this is kind of what we want, right? What we want to do is we want to make it appear somehow. So we want to make it expand. So something we can do is measure. Yes, you can take a measurable and you can take the constraints and you can get the wait, what is this complaining about? It's a placeable. Yes, I know. So placeable. So the way
new terms, right? Because
essentially a placeable. Placeable is something that is measured but is not positioned yet. So you know how big it is, but you don't know where it goes.
Now I get it. I get it. Okay.
So you can get the height in this case. So well, height is that. And now I don't remember the layout. What you need to return? We need to return a measure result. Fair enough. How do we do that? I don't know, but we'll find out. How do we find it out? We'll copy it from somewhere else. Oh, okay. You call the layout method. Good. To answer the question from Stack Overflow. Well, the good thing about Compose is you don't need Stack Overflow because the Stack Overflow is Compose code itself, right? You just pick something and you see how it's used. There you go. It's here. Oh, this is how you do it. Plus, you know that it's done the right way instead of being done by potentially me. Which is not a good idea. Going back to the question we had in the chat a couple of minutes ago, the reason why that was bad is because you are, first of all, you're creating composables you don't actually need. Second of all, I'm sure there's a better way to do off-screen buffers than just creating a box and setting a alpha 0 to it. But
yes. So the idea of putting it there and hiding it because, well, you are gonna need it in a moment, but in the meantime, I put it there.
No, but the thing is that one that was in the box would not be used anywhere else. That was just there for the time of measurement. And you could even do like smart things such as once it's measured and you have the measured value, you can just put the box inside of an if, and when that value goes to non-null, for example, because the measure has been done, then you can...
You don't compose it.
You just take the thing out of the composition. So it's not too bad in terms of performance itself, because it's a small thing, it's a one-off, it's fine, but it's just dirty. It's like... It's a like hack. Karma. It's a giant hack. That's the problem. Which is... Like, that was me thinking in terms of how would I have done that if I were using views? Because with views, you kind of have to do hacks. There's no way around it. You don't have the layout thing here in the world of views. So I am used to hacking things when it comes to UI and animation with views, because that's the only way you can do it.
Yeah, you need to make it happen one way or another, right?
Yeah.
So with the layout function, we pass it width and height, and there was also a lambda. What do we do with the lambda? Placement.
I don't know.
Placeable scope. There was like something.
Placeable
relative. Place relative.
Sure.
I think that then you need to put it somewhere, and 0, 0, it starts to place it in the top left corner, I guess.
But relative parents coordinate system. Yeah, that's fine. This is only one composable, so we can put it at 0, 0. But the thing is, I guess here you could move it around by just like if you animated this, you could move it.
Yeah.
Which is
okay.
Which is cool, but not what we're going for, because what we're going for is we're going to animate the height, because if we do it now, obviously the height is not animated. It's just this is a lot of code. Oh,
for doing
nothing,
Ani? Basically.
This is a lot of code.
Hello.
It bugged out. Okay, this is a lot of code just to say do the same thing you were already doing before, because it's I am not changing anything. Small thing here. You will notice that the times have disappeared from the bar here. This means that the animation inspector is bugged. Like you cannot drag the thing. I'm trying to drag the thing, it doesn't drag it. But it's easy to fix. You stop it and restart it, and it works again.
Turn it off and on again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm rambling. Sorry. Not sorry.
That's not true. Come on. We animated a lot of things. Yeah, Hugo, I mean, I'm with you. This surprised also me. I mean, I was not expecting that.
We don't have bugs. We have unexpected features.
Nice. Unplanned features.
Features that don't work as documented.
features that are not necessarily documented.
Yeah, I mean, if you start in a place where you don't have documentation, that's even better, because that's basically probably they're gonna fix it, because I mean, if you can fix it restarting the preview, it just probably it gets lost
Yeah, I
somewhere.
expect they will. I have reported the bug. They know it happens. So they will fix
How
it.
many bugs did you report since this thing
A
started in
number.
April, Sebastiano?
A number.
I mean, a month doesn't go without like, oh yeah, I opened a ticket there, working on it. So making friends in Google, eh?
I mean, it's better that they fix things before it goes 1.0, right? It's better for them.
Better for everybody.
Yeah, but also for them.
So we need a float.
No, we have a float.
You have a float. You need an.
Yeah, but YOLO. Okay, let's see if this works. Before next week. They haven't said when it goes public, when it goes 1.0, Hugo. How do you know? Just because there's only one Wednesday left in July.
Do we want to run a prediction?
Yeah, let's run a prediction, but it's already spoiled. Unfortunately, I've spoiled it already. Because it works. Wahoo!
Oh, look at that. Look at that. So you are animating the whole card. I thought you were animating just the pill. Actually, this is cool.
No, I am animating the pill, but the card is that the item is wrapped.
You are hiding the pill, but you are changing the height of the whole thing. No, but the whole thing changes because the pill disappears.
No. This is the height of the pill. Now, why the pill is still drawn, I'm gonna get to in a second, but this is essentially what's going on, right? By default, Compose does not clip to bounds. That's what's happening. If I put clip to bounds, you should see it just get compressed. Well, not compressed. It's not gonna distort it. It's just gonna cut it, I think. Oh no, it fucked up again. It's getting excited because there's too many animated things, I guess. But yeah, now you see it. You see it?
Okay.
So I'm actually animating the height of the item.
The pill.
Of the
pill. But the
sorry.
container is wrap content, so it shrinks because now there is less stuff in it.
Yep. So that's it.
But do we like the clip to bound? That's the effect that you want? Like the cut?
I mean, we can do without.
Can you show it like real speed? Because probably I'm missing also something on Skype. Probably people
you are missing out on the next step yet, which I'm gonna get to in a second. So this is fine, but as you can see, I don't like it because it overlaps.
Yeah,
right?
It overlaps. Yeah, that's bad. Okay.
So what you can do is you can define what we mentioned earlier, which are transition specs. So what you can say is the alpha starts animating only after a certain time.
Okay.
So, for example, here you can see the alpha can start fading in once it's actually cleared the text. So about, I don't know, it doesn't say how much, but let's say 50 milliseconds in. Okay?
You can work it out from the values under the transition properties.
Yeah, but that involves me doing math. And I'm lazy. Yeah, that is something that they should probably add. But yeah, it's like every time someone tells me, it's like, but you're a programmer, don't you know how to do maths? I'm like, yes, but I use a calculator all the time. Like, why would I do it by heart?
Yeah, it would be nice if there was a tooltip or something on the preview that just showed you the exact progress value you're at or percentage value.
Indeed. Okay, so what is a transition spec? It is somewhat, it's similar conceptually to the stuff we have seen with animate visibility. 4,000 euro calculator, yeah.
It's a very expensive.
In a transition spec, you essentially tell what to do, like how to interpolate. It's essentially, think of it as the old school interpolators in a way. And you can see that the default is a spring.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the parameter here is whatever target value you're getting, if I recall correctly, maybe.
And nullable any makes me a bit anxious.
Yes. Transition segment of that. Okay, no, that's not how it works. I forget how it works because I've only used it once in my life, and it's been more than 15 minutes, so I forgot. So I think it's target state. Yeah, target state. It's already declared because the receiver of this lambda is a transition segment that has the target state. So what we can do is we can say if the target state is excluded, so if we are showing the the label, what we need to do is we need to, well, I also need an else, otherwise it's going to complain. It's going to complain anyway, but whatever. So what we want to do is we want to use an interpolation, like a linear tween. So we can do tween, and a tween is the most basic interpolation. It's an interpolation between A and B, and you can define how it interpolates essentially, but by default I think it's something fast out, slow in, easing.
Here you go. Okay.
So let's say we want to define private const val animation duration millis, and it's 200 millis, whatever, I don't know. So we say that the duration of the alpha, if we are showing it, oh wait, that's the total. Let me do alpha animation duration millis, and this is, let's say that the alpha takes just 1/3 of the total length of the animation. So we do animation duration millis divided by 3, and then we do duration millis is alpha animation duration millis. And there's other parameters here, and we'll get to them in a second. I just want to copy this. Okay, so the next parameter that we have is the delay millis. Now, in case this is appearing, we need to wait. So we need to do the movement first, and after we've done the movement, then we do the alpha transition. So is there anything I can draw on? Probably. Is that gonna be bad? Likely, so I'm not gonna do it. But let's do it with ASCII art, because that always works. So this is our timeline, okay? This is our timeline, and we say that this part from here to maybe, I'm just gonna go out of scale just to make you understand how it works. To here, this is so this is the appearing animation. Okay, so this is the time that it will take to change the size. Okay, and once it's done changing the size of the item, then it can do the label alpha animation. So the item will first expand, and then the alpha comes in, okay?
Okay.
So what we're aiming for is something like this. So you see that we are animating the alpha, so we need to start after this is completed, right? So what we need is we also need the duration of that. And this is the height animation duration. And this is, well, probably easier to do it like this, which is animation duration millis minus alpha animation duration millis. So now the sum of the alpha and the height is the total size, the total duration. Now we are animating the alpha, so we need to tell it to start here and not here. So we have set the duration, and that's fine. And the delay is the duration of this part here. Okay. And now that should work. For the way back, for the disappearing, this works kind of in reverse, in the sense that we have the alpha first, and then we have the change size. So there is no need for any delay when we are disappearing, because the alpha starts immediately. Okay? Is it clear? Does it make sense?
Clear as mud.
Noise. That's always good to hear. Thank you, Mark. This means that, or are you, how do you say gufare in English?
I don't want to jinx it. I just want to gather some prediction from our users.
You're jinxing it. I know it.
No. I just trust you. I mean, it's just...
So now we're animating the size.
I have no idea how this thing works. So, you know, I'm just here shutting up, listening.
So for the height, instead, we look at our quality art, reference art here. So this starts immediately, so there's no need for a delay in the appearing state. But in the disappearing state, we do need a delay because the change of size starts here. So what we need to do is delay millis is the duration of the alpha animation. Okay. Now, theoretically, the item should expand first, and then the label should appear. Theoretically, if I haven't fucked it up. Let's try this. Fingers crossed. Let's see if anyone has won any points with this. Okay, so now we have the label height % is hooked in. Let's try this. Yes, boy. Yes. First try.
So, first try.
Only because I failed 15 times trying it beforehand, and I knew what to do. But I knew it would take me an hour to get it right otherwise, so I kind of had to cheat.
Fair enough.
That's why I had faith in Seb.
But you have seen the final results, so you know that I know how to do it now.
Well, that's why I voted yes in the prediction.
You cheater. Cheater. There's one last thing that I would say, which is this is an alpha animation, and alpha animations generally don't need interpolation. Like, this looks like this. It looks kind of... So one step back. When you animate alpha, you can have linear interpolation. It's fine, unless it's a very long animation, but this is not, because it's like 1/3 of 200 milliseconds. This is a short animation. So you can use linear interpolation instead of the fancy default one. Hey, thank you for the follow. So the default easing is fast out, slow in, which is fancy. It's essentially saying you start moving fast and you slow in as you reach the point of the target state. A linear easing instead is just go straight up. So if you look at the easing curves, I think on the material design website, I think they have somewhere easing curves. So motion, speed, maybe? Duration, medium, easing. Oh, yes. Okay. So here is the difference. The red curve is a linear interpolation, and the purple one is the one that has a fast out, slow in easing. So yeah, that's the difference, and it makes a lot of difference when you're moving things around or you're resizing things. But when you're changing the alpha, it doesn't really matter. So you can leave the default, or you can put linear easing. That's also fine. Oh yeah, there's a yeah. Just I'm gonna copy this in the chat because
Done.
oh, you've done it before. Fuck you, Ivan.
Don't
That
even
was my
mention.
link.
I mean,
That
you are
was my link.
coding. You are coding. I mean, I need to do something, right?
Fair enough.
Otherwise,
fair
I
enough.
don't feel appreciated.
Yeah. So I think I have explained how the interpolation works and why you generally don't need. I'm not gonna change the interpolation here, but you can technically on alpha use a tween with an easing that is linear. That works fine. But when it comes to the height, you do not want to use a linear easing because it's going to look horrible, because it starts and ends with the same velocity, which is not really physically accurate. Like objects in the real world never start with the end velocity. They accelerate and then they decelerate. And
It
using
will look robotic if you use linear easing on that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Friction.
yeah, it's simulating inertia and friction. So the idea of easing is that it's making things look more natural. Like people would expect them to work this way a bit more. Okay, I think we only have one thing left to do, which is to actually run it and see if anything is broken.
Probably.
I
Maybe.
missed an opportunity for a prediction.
Do you want to?
No. It's good. It's good. Let's see.
Seems to work just fine. Sorry, Mark, to disappoint you.
I mean, I have so bad lag on Skype. I'm pretty sure that this looks awesome on the stream.
I hope the frame rate is decent on this, but I mean, you can also change the animation scale at the system level, and it should...
No, but
no, it's not gonna. No, actually, I think that's an important thing to say. The animation scale in developer settings, I am not sure whether it's going to be affected. Like the compose animations, I don't know if those are affected. So maybe it's actually worth checking that.
you mean being not a view system is not gonna...
Yeah, if you go
act on that?
No, not system update.
Where
what
are
am
you?
I doing?
Where is it?
I always forget
Like...
what it is about. Okay.
you...
number. Thank you.
Yes, so that's the...
I hate that they moved the
makes
developer
me...
options to system.
Yeah.
Why?
It makes me always laugh that I need to enable the developer
Right.
options on the emulator, right? I mean, okay, I get it. The system is like, but come on, really?
So animation duration scale. This should be show bounds option. I don't know. Let's try that as well.
That should work because I mean this is not Flutter, right? I mean it should work. But you have it there. You can enable it.
Oh,
Yeah, here
I
you go.
don't think that is actually going to. Yes.
No?
It's the wrong one.
Yes.
Oh, it
Yeah.
does. Nice.
Yeah,
Well,
because I mean,
it's not something you can give for granted because these are not views. There's no views on this screen at all. That's why it doesn't work with Flutter.
Yeah, I mean, Flutter is just like a white screen, basically. Look
But
at
yeah,
that.
you can see that the ripple is affected, but the actual animation isn't. So that does not seem to work. I can try with transition instead of animation. So I can make animator 1 and transition 5, because these are technically transitions. But no, it doesn't make any difference.
Doesn't care.
No.
Okay.
But you can clearly see that how this works now, though, right? Because you can see this composable getting size of 0, essentially.
Shrink. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Okay.
So we have the bounce, but we don't have the animation. I mean, now I'm curious.
That looks like a bug we need to report.
You're the worst.
Am I though?
Seb's not happy unless he's reporting bugs.
Yeah, but he's doing it for the community, right?
Yeah, I'm doing this because I don't want to be annoyed in the future. Yes. Essentially, that's the whole reason. But I like this animation. Like,
yeah.
I think it looks quite nice.
Good. Yeah. I would like to have the palette on the black line because I think it will give it that, you know, no je ne sais quoi of fanciness.
Yeah, maybe next time Mark is back, we can do that.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
I don't know. I mean, Paletti was originally by Chris Baines, right? So it will be another opportunity for Chris Baines.
Very much still is.
Actually, I don't remember. Yeah, I think it's still his, right?
Yeah. I don't know, but probably.
I remember definitely a blog post at some point explaining about the palette thing. That I don't think
they put Chris Payne's name here, but I think it still works.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think it was definitely Chris originally.
Yeah, I know that they're using a modified version of Palette in Android 12 on the launcher. Because in Android with Material U, they are picking up the colors from the wallpaper and using them as accent throughout the system. And it's using a modified version of Palette that also tries to get pastel colors, so not too strong.
Nice. That's actually nice.
Yeah, there's a conversation on Twitter from, I want to say a month ago, but time has lost its meaning recently. So maybe it was 2 months ago. Where
or last year.
Yeah, where the guy that has worked on the launcher and has worked on that quantization stuff, pasta colors. It was actually explaining all of these. If I find it, I'll put it somewhere, but yeah, I'm not going to do it now. But I think we are done for today. And Mark, we have a topic for the next time. We are going to Palette and probably do some more animations because it wouldn't be a Mark episode without further animations.
More animations. But this is nice. And, for somebody that has very little experience with animation, this was fairly digestible, I would say. So thank you.
I think we have seen a bunch of different things today that are important for animations, such as the use of transitions, the use of transition specs to stagger things out and create keyframes. Yes, we need to make iOS folks jealous. And we have seen how to coordinate different things together. We have seen the Strikethrough, how to make a overlay modifier, how to animate them. We've seen some performance tips. I think it's been a fairly informative episode, if one
Yeah.
in which I spoke way too much.
And the clear blend mode as well.
Right, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. There was definitely a lot of information. So great. So just to put talk about the elephant in the room. We are on holidays next week, right?
From next week, yes.
Yes.
So essentially, for the entirety of the next month, for the next month, let's say, we are off. We are on holiday, and we are not going to be making live streams except on the 18th of August. There's a reason for that, and we'll reveal the reason why the 18th of August we are doing a stream soon enough. It's going to be that stream is going to be very interesting because we're gonna have someone that I'm gonna have to ask like a gazillion questions to, and I don't know if we're gonna code anything, but we're definitely going to be able to ask a lot of weird questions about Compose. So I'm very happy about that. We'll announce I don't know, at some point. We're winging this in case it wasn't clear. But while we're off, we are not leaving you empty-handed.
Yes.
Ivan, do you want to?
Yes, because we are also experimenting with something a bit more, a bit different. So we are not going to be live, but we are going to be there. So we are going to be releasing episodes that we are pre-recording with very interesting people and friends that I love to call friends, where we discuss specific topics. So there won't be coding, but there will be like a nice chat. We will be around, it will be like around 30-40 minutes kind of thing, where you will basically just sit there and watch us asking uncomfortable questions, or and we will get a lot of anecdotes and a lot of actually interesting answers, because well, I'm the first one that doesn't know shit about a lot of stuff. So we legitimately wanted to learn from our guests, and this is going to be something to keep you busy when we get some sun, basically, and deserve the rest. So we will actually go back with the live at the end of next month, but in the meantime, you will have pre-recorded episodes going released over the next few weeks. So it's going to be a different thing, and we will need a lot of feedback from you, because that's the part that is missing, because me and Sebastiano, we talk to each other, let's do this, it's gonna be cool, but if you don't like it, it's just me and him just rambling. So we need your feedback.
Yeah, just to be a bit more specific, as Ivan said, it's going to be about half an hour, 35, maybe 40 minutes in some cases. Think of them as fireside chats where we have guests or guests, and we ask them about specific topics. We have posted a teaser yesterday that was it was meant to be very cryptic, but there was an icon of Android Auto, an icon of Compose, an icon of the Amazon logo, and the Bluetooth logo. And I'm going to start by saying that we are going to call this, let's say, spin-off series, the Code with the Italians Slices. Because just like a slice of pizza is a snack that is meant to get you to a proper meal, which is our full main course of the live coding streams, we have these snacks for you while we're off that you can nibble on. And the first one is going to be, no, there's no pineapple. There might be mayo. The first one is going to be on next Sunday. So we're gonna have them on Sundays on the 1st, the 8th, the 15th, and the 22nd of August, at the same time as we usually do Sunday streams. So 5 p.m. our time, 4 p.m. Mark's time. I forget the other time zones always. So yeah,
It's
usual
lunchtime and breakfast time.
Yeah, usual time.
And dinner time.
And the first guest next Sunday is going to be Eric Hellman, who is going to talk to us about Bluetooth and maybe COBOL. I don't know. We had... So this is the time where I say that we had recorded Eric's conversation already.
You're coming clean. I'm very proud
I have
of
to
you.
come clean. I might have deleted the recording by mistake.
So I'm actually not buying it because we saw file disappearing from your computer. So I don't want to say that you delete the file. I mean, let's say that we lost the file.
Yeah, let's blame Android Studio. It just reached to an entirely different folder and deleted a video recording. I'm sure that's how it went. No, the most likely scenario is that I thought that I had backed it up, but I had not, and I was absent-mindedly cleaning up the recordings folder of all the test crap that we have done, and yeah, the
File is
tracks.
gone.
You were right on Twitter. I couldn't say, but you are the one that has gotten most things, the most things right. So yeah, well done. We're gonna have the second episode is going to be about Compose, and it's gonna be out on the 8th. And on the 15th, we're gonna be talking about automotive, Android Auto, Android Automotive OS. What is the difference? What is what? And then we're gonna have the last session with someone from Amazon. I wonder who that is. That is going to talk us about TVs and how Android works on TVs and potentially other stuff as well. So do tune in. Don't forget that the 18th of August, we're gonna have a super special live stream episode in between my holidays. And we are going to reveal probably the week before who is going to be the guest on the 18th. Probably. No, Jeff doesn't work at Amazon anymore, Sasha. Sorry. We asked, but he said, sorry guys, I left. I'm a space guy now.
Space
and what was I saying? Oh yeah, that because Ivan and myself are off at different times, it's likely that at least one of us is going to be in the chat during those conversations. Just, to mess around and have some banter.
So does that mean I can still live troll you?
You can. One note is that because the episodes are recorded, you would be wasting bits if you were trying to play sounds. That's not going to work. So save yourself the bits for when we are live, and also save yourself the Italian points for when we're live, because yeah, those are not going to work. Just FYI. I think
so. My people are speaking. I'm required to troll.
Okay, fine, fair enough. We're not going to unveil the other guests yet, because you're gonna find out at the end of each recording who is the next guest. So looking forward to that. Thank you very much, Mark, for being with us, helping crossing one off the list.
Always a pleasure.
Sorry, I had to make a terrible joke. And thank you to everyone, as always, that has followed us. This is the time where Ivan does the Ivan thing.
Yes, let's do the even thing. I want to thank you, everybody that actually supports us with the subscription. We got a lot of followers since the last episode with Jose, a few new subscribers. We thank you a lot. Again, if you have an Amazon Prime subscription, you can support us for free. You have one channel on Twitch that you can support for free every month, so you can choose us. It doesn't, it's free for you, it doesn't cost anything, and it basically supports the channel. And we are eventually going to hire a designer, even if Sebastian is doing a great job. But still, I want to buy t-shirts to send you, so if we don't buy the design, we buy definitely swag. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to YouTube. I'm very happy to say that now we have more subscribers than non-subscribed viewers on YouTube, and that's a great achievement for me. But that's important because we have people that actually don't get to the live, so they enjoy the VOD on YouTube and they come back for every episode. So that's great.
All right, speaking of the
Yeah.
VOD, just want to make thanks to Joachim, we've actually managed to fix the VOD on Twitch, and now you can watch them even if you're not a subscriber, because that didn't used to be the case. That was again my fault, where I was just randomly clicking things on the Twitch settings, and then I
We don't
couldn't
know how
find
to
that setting
Twitch.
anymore. Yeah, we're winging it.
But the idea, yes, as Sebastiano said, so there is a close of live whatever thingy, so the VOD can be on Twitch right away, but on YouTube you need to wait a couple of days. So if you are like a YouTube person, you need to wait a bit. But if you want to access the VOD right away, because well, it's in a weird time, the live is in a weird time for you, you can now enjoy it on Twitch for free.
And that's all for today. Thank you again, Mark.
An absolute pleasure as always.
As always. And looking forward to getting trolled on the chat while we're showing a
On
recording. Have a great one.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Bye.